How you doing?
Hey, Khaled, how you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for accommodating a later time after the presser. I
Happy to.
appreciate it. So let me ask you first and foremost what your thoughts are on the extension of the stay-at-home order till March 9th. Sorry, March 9th.
So I've got mixed emotions about it, Khaled, for a number of reasons. One, our businesses have really sacrificed, and this isn't just a health pandemic; it's an economic firestorm, and there's businesses that are really, really hurting. Um, and their sacrifice was working. If you look at the positivity rate in Brampton, it had gone from 17% to 7. We went from having case numbers that were 300, 400 to now consistently under 100. And so we've seen real progress. Um, Having said that, I know Dr. Lowe has said he's very concerned about the variant outbreak in Mississauga. As he said in the Brampton press conference this week, he was asking for more time so he can understand how much of a threat these variants are, and that the variants are spreading faster than he had expected, and so he wanted to keep an eye on it. But from a Brampton perspective, it's tough to swallow.
I got to ask this question. I mean, with other regions and areas opening up into red where people can actually go into restaurants, and do you think, is there a chance the lockdown can be extended past March 9th?
I didn't think it'd be extended past February 22nd. Um, I think it really is going to depend on these variant outbreaks. And so looking at the variant outbreak in Mississauga and to see if that spreads throughout the region of Peel, how fast the transmission is. But I've also asked Dr. Lowe the reverse. You're saying could it go beyond 2 weeks? I've asked Dr. Lowe if he would revisit this in a week, if the variant outbreak is not as significant as some worry that it may be, and he's committed to me that he would relook at it after a week. And so that's encouraging, because if the outbreak isn't proving to be as dangerous as thought, then if we're able to safely get our businesses open again, then we should absolutely do that.
So you're saying that there's a chance, because he's part of the health table, I believe, right? That it can open up before the 9th?
He's agreed to relook at it on a weekly basis. And that means there's a possibility, if the transmission isn't doubling week over week with the variants as it has been, then there'd be a possibility it could get reopened after a week.
Okay. You talked about the variants in the unnamed condo building in Mississauga. Have they given you any information in regards to if they found any more variants after they tested 500 people?
Yeah, there's new variants coming in every day. It takes about 48 hours to 72 hours to trace each of these variants, but there's 200 that are being studied. So as they come back, the numbers are going up.
From that building? From that unnamed building?
Well, in regards to the variant outbreak in Mississauga, I don't know how many specifically are related to that building.
Okay. Okay. Are you worried that people in Brampton might just region hop? And what are you telling the people in Brampton? Are you telling them to stay home, or?
So throughout these lockdowns, I've argued for consistency across the GTA. And my worry is that if you have one region that's open and another that's closed, people will go to amenities in the other regions. And I have had this conversation with people at the provincial level, people at public health. Let me give you a few examples. Right now, skiing is closed in Caledon and Brampton, but skiing is open up in Collingwood. And so if you wanted to keep people local, knowing that there's no risk to outdoor activities like skiing, there's no risk of COVID transmission, then open up the Caledon Ski Club, open up the Mount Jacuzzi in Brampton, and then people won't be traveling outside the region. And so it's a bit of a head scratcher that the way this is rolled out, it will actually encourage people go to region to region. Mayor Crombie has said, how do you stop someone in Mississauga from going to a restaurant in Oakville? Or how do you stop someone in Brampton from going to a restaurant in Vaughan that could only be a few kilometers away? And so I think we're naive to say there's not going to be region hopping. There will be region hopping. And I know everyone said stay at home, don't region hop. And then you looked at the cell phone data in December, and what happened? the cell phone companies reported there was significant region hopping. That if you look at the data, people were going to the regions that were open.
True. Weren't you part of the health table?
No, I'm not.
No, I'm saying, why aren't you?
I love to be,
So,
but it's not a political process.
okay. With Peel and Toronto kind of being obviously part of this extension, do you think the province and the feds should kind of step up and give more help to the small business that are in longer lockdown?
Yeah, but it's people have said, what can we do to help the small businesses? They just want to be open. The small businesses I've spoken to don't want a handout. They just want to be able to open. They want to be able to run their own business. And so, I do worry about the ongoing economic repercussions from these extended lockdowns. And I just really, really hope that after 2 weeks, public health will feel it's safe to get these businesses open again.
Or 1 week. So you were on a call this morning with Rick Hillier, retired general in charge of the vaccine rollout. What did he have to say, and do you have confidence in him?
So I think he's a great pick for the vaccine rollout, General Hillier, and kudos to the provincial government for picking someone as accomplished and frankly accomplished with logistics as he is. So a few things he said. He said they're going to finish up the vaccinations with the long-term care and the healthcare workers, and they're going to start in March on vaccinating those over 80 in Ontario. He also said that their biggest challenge is supply, that they have not been getting supply from the government of Canada. It comes in drips and drabs, and we're not going to get any significant supply until the spring. And so, there's a long list of who he'd like to vaccinate, but until he has vaccines, he can't. And so we are playing a waiting game until Prime Minister Trudeau can be able to procure additional vaccines.
Can you tell me where the vaccination centers are going to be in Brampton?
So they've identified the mass vaccination centers in Peel. They have a full rollout plan that's been ready since December, and there'll be a number of modes of vaccination. As the vaccines come, it could range from a mass vaccination center to the continued vaccines at the hospital, but there's also going to be eventually family physician offices, pharmacies. That's the easy part. Getting the population vaccinated, we're ready. It's getting the vaccines.
Sure. The Fed's made some changes to the Canadian Recovery Sickness Benefit by doubling the amount of sick benefits to 4 weeks. Does this help with the sick pay issue in Brampton and Peel?
So we have a few concerns. One, that the weekly benefit is below minimum wage, and so that's a disincentive to rely on it for people who are struggling to put food on the table. My worry is that if it's below minimum wage, they'll continue to go to work when they're sick. And secondly, it takes 3 months to get back. And so those are two things that still need to be fixed. And I hope that now that they're starting to correct the program, that some additional corrections could be made.
And the feds also are allowing the bylaws to be run by municipalities for handgun bylaws. Is this something that Brampton's looking into?
So we're still waiting to get all the details on that in terms of how it would comply with the provincial regulations. And so I know it's something that the big city mayors of Canada and Ontario we're talking about. We had a discussion about it this morning. And as details come out, we'll be able to share what our plan is on a municipal level in Ontario. What I would say is of course, I favor more gun control. The less guns in our community, the better. And I'm supportive of anything that will help get guns off our streets.
And let's end the topic with, I know a topic that you love, hockey. But unfortunately, based on, it's the Brampton Beast, I heard that they're leaving. We wrote an article about it. And now the CAA Center, with this 5,000, seat arena that I play at every Sunday pre-pandemic in a beer league. But we hear that there's a chance that you might be getting an OHL team in Brampton. Is this a rumor out here?
So
are you working?
What I would say is that, it's sad to see any sports franchise not be successful, but I do think the ECHL was a tough sell in Brampton. Canadians are very sophisticated when it comes to hockey. I think there's an understanding that it would be very rare for an ECHL player to end up in the NHL. If you want to look at high quality hockey that are the best professional athletes, other than an NHL team, you're looking at AHL or OHL in Ontario. And so I think this opens the door for that potential of an AHL team or a OHL team. They have to get fans. And the reality is the ECHL did not get fans into the building. Would an OHL team or an AHL team drive more attendance? You know, a hockey team is a business at this level, and it has to be self-sufficient. Part of the model with the Brampton Beast was that it was subsidized for 5 years by taxpayers, something that I don't support. I don't believe, you know, taxpayers should be subsidizing professional sports organizations.
So would you like an OHL or an AHL team to kind of come
I would love to have a professional hockey team in Brampton, as long as they're financially self-sufficient.
Okay. I just want to let you know that we hired one of a writer that you know. He used to be the color commentary of the Barrie Colts, Gene Pereira. Do you remember him?
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, so he's part of the team now. So he wanted me to say hi to you. So. Okay.
And I have to say, I still am a Barrie Colts fan. My first OHL team that I cheered for. So I'm now there's two of us as part of the in Brampton world who are quietly cheering for the Barrie Colts OHL.
Exactly. So I see you got the memo for the red hoodied shirt. So so thank you so much, Mayor Brown.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.